Mahua Moitra is no longer a member of parliament. The cash for query scandal has cost the TMC MP her seat in parliament. It was a day of high-pitched drama in the Lok Sabha, where after a 1-hour-long debate, Mahua Moitra was expelled on the recommendations of the ethics panel. In a stormy session, opposition MPs came out in fierce support of Mahua Moitra, and for the first time, even her party chief, Mamata Banerjee, supported her, calling her a victim of vendetta politics. Here's all that what happened today.
कि सांसद श्रीमती महुआ मित्रा का आचरण अनैतिक और संसद सदस्य के रूप में अशोभनीय है और इस कारण उनको लोकसभा सदस्य बने रहना उपयुक्त नहीं होगा। इसलिए संकल्प करती है कि उन्हें लोकसभा की सदस्यता से निष्कासित कर दिया जाए।
The cash for query case against TMC MP Mahua Moitra reaches a parliament climax. With Mahua being expelled from Lok Sabha after a 1-hour debate. Hours earlier, the Ethics Committee report was tabled in the House, triggering a furious debate between the government and opposition MPs. The ethics panel had recommended Mahua's expulsion and asked the government to probe the money trail mentioned in the allegations. The opposition called the report a travesty of justice, repeatedly asking for Mahua to be allowed to defend herself on the floor of the House.
Fair trial only would be there when an affected person is being heard. If an affected person is not heard, there cannot be any fair trial. Thereafter, sir, in a quasi-judicial proceeding, right of cross-examination is a fair hearing. Sir, right of hearing is not a fanciful, is not a right of fanciful. It has to be made meaningful right. It has to be made meaningful right.
The BJP MPs, however, contended that Mahua was given a hearing and that she had been found guilty of grave charges.
Wherein she has been found to be the guilty of unethical conduct and contempt of the House for sharing her Lok Sabha credentials, that is user ID and password of the Lok Sabha members portal, to unauthorized person, wherein her conduct has further been found to be unbecoming of a member of parliament.
Right after the expulsion order, opposition MPs staged a protest outside Parliament.
This Lok Sabha has also seen the weaponization of a parliamentary committee. Ironically, the Ethics Committee, which was set up to serve as a moral compass for members. Instead, it has been abused egregiously today to do exactly what it was never meant to do, which is to bulldoze the opposition.
The Parliamentary Ethics Committee's report was based on allegations by lawyer Jay Dehadra and BJP MP Nishikant Dubey's letters, which alleged that Mahua had taken gifts and favours from industrialist Darshan Hiranandani to post questions on the Parliament website. Mahua even admitted in interviews that she had shared her login credentials with Hiranandani but denied any conspiracy or quid pro quo. Mahua appeared before the Ethics Committee for a deposition but walked out midway. So far, the opposition, including the TMC, had maintained a watchful silence on the issue. But today, for the first time, Party Chief and Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee gave a fiery retort defending Mahua.
That Mahua is a victim of the circumstances. And I strongly condemned it. Party is totally behind the Mahua, and our party will fight along with Indian Alliance together. It is unfortunate for the democracy. They kill the democracy.
This may not be the end of Mahua Moitra's troubles, with a panel recommending further probe into the money trail and a CBI preliminary inquiry currently underway. NDTV Bureau Report.
But trouble for Mahua Moitra may not end with just expulsion. Since all MPs were asking where is the cash, where is quid pro quo, Parliament Ethics Panel has said that in its report, they have said it very clearly that they do not have the technical expertise to probe the money trail. The panel has recommended that the cash transactions be probed by a government agency in a time-bound manner and has also added that Mahua Moitra her conduct has been serious misdemeanor which calls for severe punishment. Let me go straight to Vasudha, who's joining us live. So Vasudha, we did see a lot of support come in from opposition for Mahua Moitra. It did come as a huge surprise for all.
You know, Maria, I don't see this as exactly something that's long term. I just think that yes, of course, it's a show of solidarity, and they are supposed to do this. India bloc is anyway, battling with all these challenges, and even as BJP manages to win election after election and state after state, and the plank seems to be entirely around corruption, and Prime Minister has been talking often about how the common man has been exploited by political parties in the past. I'm not very sure how MPs from all political parties, especially in opposition, are going to look at it, and I don't think their support to Mahua Moitra is going to go beyond this show of optics, which is of course something that binds with their politics and aligns with their politics, and that is something that they are bound to do. But clearly, if you see, Mamata Banerjee also took her time to come out and break her silence today. Also, she's been quite careful about it. Of course, she said that Mahua Moitra is a victim of circumstances, and every person who spoke in favor of her said that she should be given a chance to respond, right? It was only Sonia Gandhi who said that she supports everything that she said. But even Sudeep Bandyopadhyay and everybody, even Kalyan Banerjee, said that she needs a chance to be spoken, and she needs a chance to be heard. But of course, the government has a very powerful retort saying that on this meeting that was held on 2nd of November, she was given a chance to speak. And if you look at Ms. Sarangi's bites to the interview that she gave you, and of course, other members, they've clearly said that, there was division in voting in all three meetings, and every stakeholder in this whole exercise, be it Mr. Dehadra or Ms. Moitra or Mr. Dubey, have had their chance to submit their oral evidence. So clearly the ethics committee has raised some very serious allegations, including unethical conduct and illegal gratification, which I'm not sure political parties will be very, they'll be careful about supporting an MP. Of course, it is a show of solidarity. They'll do it collectively, but I'm not really sure how long term it's going to be.
All right, Vasudha, thank you so much. Nalin Kohli, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, is joining us live. We have Sanjay Singh, Senior Journalist, Vivek Agnihotri, former Secretary General of the Rajya Sabha. Nalin, beginning with you, were processes bypassed? The point being made by Manish Tiwari on the floor of the House was, why issue a whip when today the House was in fact functioning as a jury?
I think issuing a whip is the prerogative for political or other reasons, and that may be taken. I don't think that really takes away the substance of allegations against Ms. Moitra. So let's go back to the basics. Ms. Moitra was supposed to present herself before the ethics panel to explain her conduct with regard to the allegation that she took money or other material benefits to ask questions targeting one business group with the involvement of another business group, and in the process try to make political capital against the BJP. Sum and substance of allegation 1. Allegation 2 being that she gave her credentials, her login ID, etc., to a third party not authorized or should not be given to, who was putting questions or uploading them for her on her behalf or directly from sitting from outside the country. Now, Ms. Moitra needed to give a substantive answer to these allegations. Instead of that, all the fury that we've seen has been on everything except the substance. It's been about democracy in danger, the BJP, murder of democracy, etc. These are standard lines taken by the opposition parties, but you need to answer on the questions directly. Then you are given, or she was given, an opportunity to present herself before the committee. She chooses to walk out of it, not give an explanation. So she can't say there's denial of principles of natural justice. Third, the committee is working as per a procedure that's defined under the parliamentary rules. She's a parliamentarian. You've had cash for questions in the past and people have been disqualified. That precedence exists. So everything is going as per parliamentary procedure. You as a parliamentarian are expected to follow by it and conduct yourself in accordance with it. She does not do any of that. Now today, you want to make a speech. A speech can be made on the floor of House of Parliament, outside the Parliament, which she did. No one is stopping her. But how does that take away the procedure that she herself has turned away from and not answered? She's faced consequences.
But Nalin, the question is about fair trial, because what was happening in the committee was she demanding her right to cross-examine Darshan Hiranandani, because the main basis on which this entire case stands was that affidavit, the sworn affidavit of Darshan Hiranandani. So she was well within her rights to ask for the right to cross-examine him.
So that comes from, pardon me for that, Maria, but legal illiteracy. You can't start with a cross if you don't present your own defense. And you have to have your substantive defense before you try to poke holes into the opposition's case. Where is your reply? Where is your counter to the allegations against you? And third, this is not a court of law. This is not a trial court where a cross can be conducted. Those legal options are before her. She wishes to take recourse in filing any kind of case or anybody else. She can do all of that there. This is a parliamentary procedure under a parliamentary ethics committee following procedure which is defined by Parliament. It's not a court of law. So you can't import the rules of another forum into this forum by not following the rules of this forum and then turn around and say that this is not fair. It doesn't work that way.
Okay. Vivek Agnihotri, what will you tell those MPs who have been saying that the punishment is very harsh because sharing of the login ID and password is essentially in a grey area? There's no rule stopping an MP from sharing login ID and password. Mr. Agnihotri,
the matter before the ethics committee was the conduct of an MP, whether it is unbecoming of an MP to do whatever she had done. To some extent, she had admitted also sharing her password and login ID. And in its wisdom, the ethics committee came to the conclusion that she is unfit to be an MP. I mean, the ethics committee is not going into the criminality of the conduct, but only in the matter whether it is a conduct which is unbecoming of a member of parliament. That is the most important thing to remember. Number two, in the House, in the past also, the reports, in 2005, a report was presented in respect of 10 MPs in such a matter of cash for query, and the same day the discussion took place and the 10 MPs were expelled. So that precedent also is there in terms of how the parliament system works in such matters. And this disqualification or expulsion, it is not disqualification, it is expulsion, does not create any criminal liability, for which the committee has said that the government agencies will inquire into the criminal aspect of whatever has happened. And that is another matter, and it will be matter before other kind of entities.
Okay. Talking about the politics of it and what played out in Parliament today, Sanjay Singh, is this going to be short-lived? Because if anything, that will make opposition space, which is already facing a lot of credibility issues, because several of its leaders are facing criminal investigations, there are charges of corruption, for them to be backing Mahua Moitra, because what we saw play out was largely in the domain of processes. MPs were not questioning about whether she was right or wrong, they were saying that the process was not followed right.
I think the points picked up by the opposition members were not something which is going to favor them in people's court. Number one, as you said, there are so many cases of corruption against them. Today, incidentally, also people have seen that those pictures and videos are viral, where you have seen 2,000 crores of cash being seized from a Jharkhand MP of Congress party. So therefore, these things for Congress, this is very difficult thing to kind of defend. And standing by Mahua Moitra, you are actually standing as to what Mahua Moitra did in the parliament and whatever she is saying. BJP, I'm sure the BJP's think tank is going to hit very hard as and when it comes to campaigning. The other point is the points that opposition members were making about. I think if they had made similar points in 2007, when this was a similar situation had happened in Parliament, I take this incident as far more serious incident than what had happened in the past. Because in this case, you have shared your login and password to an entity who is foreign-based, who is a corporate entity, and you effectively become just a voice or an agent of that particular entity against a corporate rival, and in turn to defame Modi government of the day. There are other implications also. Just because you speak good English and you are articulate and well-groomed, and a certain set of people, left liberals, are rallying behind you, therefore your crime is less than crime committed by others, or you should be weighed on a different scale than the others. I think that's a very, very wrongful kind of idea to put forward by her and by those who are standing by her today.
No, but what played out politically speaking, Sanjay Singh, look at this imagery that we have on our television screens. There is, the entire TMC standing with her. There is veteran parliamentarian in Farooq Abdullah. You have, Sonia Gandhi. All of them are present. There are other leaders in opposition present.
We have seen this happening in past 9 years on over a dozen of occasions, where same set of people have been standing in front of Mahatma Gandhi's statue. And the most recent was Sanjay Singh's case of Aam Aadmi Party, where Sonia Gandhi went there and they were sitting on dharna and so on and so forth happened. Where is Sanjay Singh today? I think it is for the Congress party to think. I think that larger compulsion arises out of a result of 3 assembly elections, whereby the Congress suffered a very bad defeat. Okay. And therefore the question was about India Alliance. Congress somehow is trying to catch on this issue as to make this a binding issue, somehow to present a united face of opposition and hold an India Alliance meeting whereby.
Okay, but I'm not too sure if this is a great issue that should be seen as a unifying issue. Yes, Nalin, you wanted to make a point. Go ahead.
Only this much, that standing next to Gandhiji's statue is not the issue. Following Gandhiji's ideals is what should be the objective. And on a day when the Congress party, one of its MLAs, you are having 200 crores already counting and perhaps even more. On that day, to really stand under the Gandhi statue only shows their focus is on the photo of Gandhiji on a note, not on the principles that he lived for or died for. Number 2, unity and credibility are 2 separate things. Standing together, unity on an issue like this has its own issues, as you just pointed out and Sanjay pointed out. But more importantly, how does this add to credibility? And the allegation against Ms. Moitra is serious. It's about taking money. It's about taking favors, taking material benefits, and asking motivated questions. The crux of it, these are the allegations. Is there a credible answer to it, except all fury against the BJP and allegations? That cannot be the counter answer. Let me say for a minute, she's disqualified and she contests the election, she wins again. How does that remove the slur or the taint of the current tenure? It doesn't. So I think this was something that she should have taken seriously. She had every opportunity to do so. If she discards that opportunity, she can't complain with the process and the decision.
Okay. Final words to you, Mr. Agnihotri. The process, again, I'm going to raise questions because that is what is being discussed. The substantive part of whether she's guilty or not, whether there is a money trail, all that is subject of criminal investigation, which will be done by the CBI because it has registered preliminary investigation. Talking about what is going to happen. So this is largely an expulsion because Mahua Moitra, which ends with this tenure, right, of the 17th Lok Sabha. So there is no disqualification per se, which means that there is no caveat that she cannot contest and return to the Lok Sabha. Mr. Agnihotri, you have to unmute yourself, sir. Okay. There is some problem. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, as I said earlier, it is not a question of disqualification.
Okay.
It is an issue of expulsion. So she can contest again and get elected again. And as Mr. Kohli said, that the the slur or whatever of having been expelled will continue to be with her. One thing I wanted to say, you asked in the beginning, why a whip was issued. You see, any committee's report, when it is placed on the table of the House, discussion on it takes place on a motion moved by the government. And that motion ultimately has to be put to vote. If it has to be put to vote, then naturally a whip has to be issued by the parties concerned. It is a different matter that today, by voice vote, the motion was accepted. But that is why the whip was issued.
Okay, but in 2005, just a quick recall for our viewers, those MPs were not given a chance to speak on the floor of the Lok Sabha.
That is what the records say, that the report was presented, and soon thereafter it was accepted by the House, and the 10 MPs were expelled.
And then the criminal investigation began by the Delhi Police Special Cell 2 years later.
That is a different matter.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time, Vivek Agnihotri, Nalin Kohli and Sanjay Singh.